And so what these rules, so in order to make the rules, again, function as a way of saying to everybody, these are the things you have to meet to get your staff level permit. These rules are now, a lot of the rules that are being proposed today reflect change that are things that happen right now, that are things that we're doing right now, but we want to sort of make applicants, homeowners, architects aware of the things they need to do to get a staff level permit. Okay, so that's just a brief introduction. And there are some new things in here that we can talk about. But that's the main, a lot of the rules in here are things we're already doing, but we want to bring them out and make it clear. So, Sydney, how do people want to do this? Do we want to go through each rule, or do people prefer to ask questions about rules? It doesn't really matter to me. What would be most useful for people?
Why don't you just sort of do a fast summary of them and take questions?
Sure.
Does that work with everybody?
Yes.
Okay, so the first two, talk about actually, the first one has to do with, it's very simple, it has to do with mechanical equipment. Sarah, do you want to jump in here and do this? Can you get a coffee? So the first tool is has to do with mechanical equipment. Okay, and the idea here was to allow basically green technology to be approved as mechanical equipment.
Right, and again, this is something that we normally interpret mechanical equipment to include, the definition of mechanical equipment to include these things, but this is to make it explicitly clear that things like solar panels or other units like that can be interpreted as mechanical equipment and therefore approvable at the staff level if they're minimal or invisible and
A little louder, please. A little louder, please.
We can't hear
A
you.
little louder, please.
Sorry.
Yeah. So in other words, the idea was that things like solar panels, small wind turbines, things like that, and their associated sort of things associated with them would be treated as mechanical work. It's not, it's kind of obvious, but since it wasn't listed before, we wanted to make it clear to everybody that you could have, minimally visible, that's defined as 18 inches, solar panel, visible somewhere,
And the good news is that what we found with solar panels is that, an applicant will come to us and say, this is our optimum angle, and we've gone out in the field and we've looked at mock-ups with them, and we've sort of played with how much we can bring it down so that it would meet the rule, and in most cases we've been able to bring down the angle so that the solar panel is not even visible, and it's resulted in a very small reduction in the amount of energy that the solar panel generates. So it's great news. I think we dropped one solar panel down to a 16-degree angle, and it only lost 4% of its ability to generate power. So that's been great. But I think actually the first one is the mechanical split system.
Oh,
Okay, I jumped ahead. So again, the rules that we have for air conditioning units and other HVAC units call for or include through the wall units and through window units, where the window is being permanently altered in some way. And it doesn't really account for the split system ductless units that sit on brackets on a facade that don't penetrate the wall or the window. And this is the kind of thing, if it's on a non-visible rear facade and if it's not damaging any decorative or significant features, we would have issued a certificate of no effect. But we're going to now make it very clear that these types of units are also eligible for staff permits under our rules. And so that's what the first one is to allow a wall-mounted unit that won't be visible from a public thoroughfare, as long as the mounting structure will be attached through mortar joints, it will be reversible. Any penetrations for conduit through the facade will be as small as possible, and in no event greater than 3 inches in diameter. And the conduit will be painted to match the underlying material, and that no decorative masonry or significant feature will be affected. Again, this is all cases where it's not visible.
Right, so the idea there weren't split systems now they're ever more popular, especially in these detached single-family home situations as well. We're also finding in apartment buildings where people don't want to block the windows year-round with an air conditioner or a constant roof. So this allows that to sort of recognize the sort of changing technology. Okay, so let's to the window rules, and we'll do, there's two window rules, they're a little bit out of order, but we'll do the first one, section 2, which is subdivision 2.2-15, and we'll also do, that one. 304, which is a section of the rules, we just have a separate section, I think they're related. 8, so we do 2 and 8 at the same time, because there's an interaction between the two.
Right, and they're both rules dealing with windows, but they were written at different times. So the window rule allows the staff to modify non-visible window openings, either reduce them in height or width, or enlarge them in height or width. As long as they're not visible and they're not a special window. And the new window opening rule, which was written at a later time, allows the staff to approve new window openings on visible and non-visible side facades. But it doesn't actually talk that much about what the sash should be. And the language between the two rules didn't really agree because they were written at different times. So this is sort of trying to tighten them up and make sure that they are saying the same thing and the intent behind it is the same. So for lot line windows, or windows on secondary facades, the rule already says that the openings need to retain the same general shape and pattern as the existing windows, and where there are no window openings, new window openings will be located in a place that is a size and shape where it can form the basis of a regular and consistent pattern, and that the new sash does not detract from the sash on the primary facade. Under our window rule, where the staff approves new windows on visible side facades, the rule requires that the application include windows that match the historic configuration. So in the new window opening rule, we are including language specifically about the configuration of the windows so that it's agreed with the window rule, and that is that the new sash will match the configuration of the historic predominant window